What is up, everybody? We are back, and we're probably gonna make some food stuff. I decided just now. I picked up my mic and I said, "Let's go freaking make some freaking food stuff." All right, so we're gonna switch the scales a little bit for because that's what I do. If you don't do that, that's fine. I'm going to do it though. If you're using Unreal, you're probably gonna want to do it. 0.01. And we'll just find the other one. 0.01. All right. Well, where should we start? What kind of food stuff should we make? And how should we start it? That's a good question, right? Hmm. Let's try a loaf of bread here. Let's see if we can make a loaf of bread. I don't know how hard this is going to be. Again, I don't practice this stuff. I just come in and we learn together. Make mistakes together, and we get better together. This looks pretty bready. Let's grab that one. Grab this one, right? Whoa. Move them down maybe a hair. And we're going to make that little signature look at the top of a loaf of bread. Oh, yeah. Get all that bread, boys. Now, that's pretty easy. Went pretty well. Got to be rounded at the ends, but that's not a big deal. Or we can leave it square if we're just looking to make it more of that look. Say we wanted to add slices. We Control R, and then we just decide how many slices we want, and we push. Boom. It's the best thing since sliced bread. And if you wanted to, you can put a slight bevel into it, like that, and you can see. Now you can see it much clearer. Sorry. So if we were to give this a texture, maybe we'd draw these in a little bit, or just color these slightly different. Oh shoot! It looks like I didn't do it very evenly. I wasn't paying that much attention. If that happens to you, Shift or Control R. Sorry, in edit mode. I'm not in edit mode. I didn't go back far enough. It looks like. We'll go back until it disappears. Okay, that's too far. We'll redo. And you can move these, obviously. You can drag them one side or another, or you can just right click and it'll center itself and do it for you. That's probably what we want to do. I just thought of another way we could do this. Instead of having to draw them in after, we could just hit S now and shrink it in a little bit. Oh no, that's not going to work. We're going to have two edges there, one on either side. So if we do that, then the edges taper instead of sinking the whole thing. But I think that's good. I think you guys get the idea. Could also do a different way too. If we undid that and we wanted to just make some single pieces of bread, maybe we go back to there, shrink it down a little bit until it's about the size of bread you want. Okay. That's probably a little too thin, but you get the idea. And then we just duplicate. And then we just leave a little tiny separation, like that. And then when we are looking at the loaf, you can clearly see their individual pieces of bread. You know what I mean? You could also, if we went back and we deleted that one and grab this one, we can go into edit mode with tab and then hold A to grab the whole thing, and then Control B, and we can just taper it a little bit if we wanted to, just to give it a little bit of a different look. And you can see it's a much different look. It's going to depend what you're going for. I don't think that bread should be that rounded, so I'm going to go back. But maybe your bread is, depending how high pixel your game is. You might want that. So I just thought I'd show it to you. We will do this. We'll Shift D, and we'll drag this over here a little bit. And we're just going to make a certain look like somebody has cut a piece out of the loaf, so to speak, or something like that. I'll grab that one, and we'll just go down here to a 90, maybe. We're going to have to mess... Oh, nope, that's the one. Perfect. And we just do this, drag it down to about the same level, like that. So it looks like somebody just cut a fresh piece. Depending how you want things to look, if this is for display or if you're going to package it. If I was going to make like a bread package, I would obviously want to do a few different things. I would probably want to give the outer edges, when I colored things, I would want to give the pieces an extra edge. And I would probably also go back to when they were individual pieces, like so. And I would just keep repeating them until you have your loaf of bread. Say you want your person to be able to buy a loaf of bread and get 5 or 6 slices out, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Should be easy enough to do that way. You just put as many as you want in each bag. Okay, so we're just going to toss that aside. You get the idea. I think you know how to make bread now, if that's what you're making for a food item. Now, let's do something else. Let's do... Guess let's do a bottle. Let's try that. Maybe you want to make soda or some kind of other possibly alcoholic beverage or something. You can use this for example. Right, so you probably want to have a little bit of a thick bottom. It's up to you if you want there to be a small taper on the end. It's going to cost you more in resources, but if we just go to tab and we go to faces, you could, if you wanted, swoop this in. And obviously, look, there's a lot more vertexes here, so it's going to cost a lot more, but you could sweep it up before it's tapered on the bottom if you wanted, just to give it a little bit more of an actual bottle look. You see what I mean? Be good for wine glasses, things like that. And you probably get away with it. It probably won't cost you enough that it's going to make a difference unless you do everything really high vertex count or line count or anything like that. That's when it starts getting costly, basically. So I'm just going to undo that. We're just going to do a basic one for now. And as the series continues, we'll try to get more and more in depth into things and start doing them a little better and more detail. So if you're starting off, if you follow the series, you should be able to slowly get better. And that's mostly what I cover is starter stuff. I just like to feel like I'm helping while I'm having fun doing some building at the same time. So maybe I'll go back there. I just left click, and then as I went around I just chose spots and control left click. I didn't go too many at once because it'll kind of lose its path if you do, so maybe 5 or 6 at a time. And I just have that upper edge. Now I'm just going to push E and bring it up. We're going to go for a while. Okay. And maybe you want to go a little higher on the first one. If you didn't go high enough, you can just undo. Just go again. Decide where you want it. Is it a wine bottle? Is it a pop bottle? Is it a... And the same theory can be applied to a can if you actually want there to be a hollow spot inside. We could also do this one-sided if we wanted to make the transparency a bit easy, but I think we can just make the whole thing transparent and then we'll put a label on it after maybe. Might be the best way to go. So we're just going to hit E again, and then we're going to hit S, swoop it in, like so, and then hit E, and swoop it in a little more, and I think you get the idea. You can go more round. It's more of a bottle shape if you want. And probably one more of those that looks a little big for the spout. And E. And then E. Just a little bit that time. And then we're going to hit S, drag it out. E. S. E. S. Oh, wait, let's do an E again. So I right click to cancel that. E. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. S. E. Alright. And here is our bottle. Once we flip out of edit mode with tab, you can see it looks pretty darn good, I'd say. It looks like a pretty good bottle. Now, there's a couple ways you can do the label. I'm going to show you the basic way because that's what I would do in most situations. And okay, we're just going to grab some faces, so like that, to say about here. Alright, we're just going to hit E and just slightly drag the whole thing out just a hair like that. It's going to be a little tapered on the edges, but it's going to look pretty good, I think. We just need to remember to color that separately now, and it'll be a label that sticks out. If you don't like the look of that, go ahead and undo it. I like the look of it stuck out a little bit, but you don't have to. If you just want to leave it like this, we can just color a piece like this to make our label. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. Alright. So maybe we'll quickly color this I'll give you the example before I forget to tell you how to do it, just in case you're really new. And if you're not, you can go ahead and skip a little farther ahead if you don't have to deal with this. So I'm going to go plus, new. We're going to hit tab, make sure we're in edit mode over the screen. And I'm going to pick a main color for the bottle. It's going to be green because this is going to be a wine bottle that I'm making. Okay. I'm going to grab this face. And then when we stopped raising them over here, that's the label we wanted to make. So I'm going to push plus, new, and I'm going to pick a new color that's going to be appropriate for a label. So maybe I'll leave it white. And as you see, when we flip out, now we're looking at the wine bottle. It looks pretty darn good. Maybe I'll go ahead and color one of the pieces of bread in case you want help on that. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm gonna go ahead and color it as well, just in case. So, bread's usually not quite pure white, so let's go ahead and make it just a hair yellow, like that. A sign. Okay. Now we're gonna do a second color. I'm gonna click, make sure you're in edit mode still. Grab this edge, grab that edge, and I'm using left and then control to grab around the ring, and shift on the last one there because there was only one. Now we're going to go new, plus, and we'll choose more of a brown on this one. And our bread has some contrast. As you can see, it looks like a pretty real piece of bread now. To go with our wine, we got bread, we got wine, no problem. Just going to delete these other ones, and now if I want to remake my loaf, I can just shift D, and we have multiple colored pieces of wood, or bread, sorry. Alright, I'm just going to grab them both, sweep them over here, grab our wine bottle, sweep it over here. Okay, let's try a can, guys. Now, obviously, it'd be pretty much the same thing to start with, so we'll start with it anyways. We'll just make an example. There's a few different ways we can do this. It depends if you're going to make an open version of your can or if it's going to be closed. I showed you how to make the bottle. The can that would open would be the same, except for you would leave a gap on the top. I don't know why I started with this cube this time. Maybe we'll go with the... I'm just used to using cubes so much, right? So we'll go with the cylinder, and we'll just adjust it a little bit, make it look like a can more for the size. Remember, just be clever, and this stuff's really easy. If I can do this, you can do this, guys. Alright, so I'm going to go to the bottom face, and E. Put a little lip in there, right? Okay, it's not so bad. Maybe we'll do a second one, E. The reason being is we're going to hit S on this one, and we don't want to stretch the can itself. Just want to put a little lip there. Okay, and if we want to do just the same on the top, E to move up a little bit, and then E again to move up slightly more, and then we're going to S. Just make it slightly bigger. As you can see those tapered edges just help it make it look more like a can. So on the top again, we're going to go eye, and we're just going to give it a little tiny edge like that. Click off of it. And again, these little details are going to cost you a bit, but it's going to make your can look more real. And if that's what you're going for in your game, I just left clicked and then control left clicked in integers all the way around, for I didn't go too many at a time, no more than 5 or 6, sorry. Hit E, we're going to go up a little bit. It's just going to make your can look that much better. See what I mean? We're in the wrong view right now, we're in the paint view, but I guess that's a little better. You can see more what I mean. If you want to do the same on the bottom, hit I, create a little lip. When you're about sure it's the size of the old one, just go ahead and use control and left click to go around, grab this whole face till you've got it all, and then just E, just slightly. There. And again, it just looks more like a can. And what else can we do? As you know, since we made this spot, we can either put the label like we did before, or we can just leave this one flat. Now I'll do the one flat for you to have comparisons. We'll go to color mode, and we'll go plus, new. This will be for the whole thing, so I'm going to make it, let's go a little blackish for like a metal color. And then we'll go plus, new, and this should just do the label at the front, and we'll leave it pretty white. There we go. There's our label. And then you could just make a something in 3D art to be your label basically, and you can just put it on your can or your bottle, and you've made your first few food items. If you're making a game, depending what kind of age it's in and all that stuff, maybe we'll cover some other types of food that don't have to be necessarily modern foods, but some older foods that will work in any game, I guess. So maybe we'll do one more, okay guys? We could do cheese. Cheese is pretty universal, right? Yeah, let's do cheese. Obviously that one's going to be a pretty easy one, and if we're starting off, so we'll do some beginner stuff like we talked about. So, I'm going to just start like that. Make it a little wider. Make it scale it down this way, and we'll try to keep it kind of in proportions with the other ones. We'll get that low and then use S to scale it up evenly. Oh, cheese, cheese, cheese. It's like a cheese wheel, right? So maybe we'll go into edit mode and we'll kind of round the edges. Just a little, because cheese wheels roll like that. Right? They have a little bit of tapered edges. What else can we do? Okay, maybe we'll make a cube again. And then we'll take our cube. And we'll first grow it until it kind of just touches the edges here, for we get an even chunk when we do this. Alright, and then we will move ourselves to a position where we can see, first of all. And we're going to take a chunk out of that cheese wheel. I don't know if I should keep the chunk. No, it's fine. Just to give you an example of what you can do to make it maybe look a little more like a piece of cheese, and hopefully this works well. Alright, well, difference. Alright, I think that's pretty good. I think we got the look pretty good, guys. Maybe there's a few more things we can do. Let's make another cylinder. Shrink it right down. Grow it just the one way. Shrink it down. Okay. Grow it a bit. What we could do is sometimes cheese has little tiny holes in it. So if you just want to kind of get a certain look to it, you can use these, and we can bool through this because there's nothing else attached to it, so it shouldn't cause any issues. And we could just kind of randomly move some of these around. And I don't know how it'll look. I've never made cheese before, but I feel like it would look alright. Maybe a few more. Again, I want to try to make it kind of random, so we'll move that there, this here, that there, and we'll do one more. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Shift D. Could do them this way too. I don't know how it's going to look. Again, I'm trying to think of like how cheese wheels look. Having a little bit of issues picturing it in my mind. Don't see a lot of cheese wheels, but I think you'll get the idea enough to be able to make your own, I'm sure. Let's do 90 here. And then we just punch this in. Shift D. Do one down here or something. I don't know. So that. We're just going to grab all our pegs that we've made, and then we'll grab our cheese after. We'll do bool difference. Alright? And it looks like Swiss cheese. We'll go into our coloring, and we will make the whole thing a color. I guess it doesn't have to be color because you already have one slot when you make something new. And I'm sure you could do a little better on, like, you look down there, it looks pretty good. You're going to have to kind of figure it out and get a look. It might take you a couple tries, but I think you get the idea. Simple cheese wheel. So now if you're making like an older medieval type game or something, there's another food item for you. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this part of the first episode on making food stuff in Blender. And if you are, make sure you thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and check out my link below. Link you to Fish Town to Remember. I just released another video on it if you want to check it out, some of the features. You're welcome to get it if you'd like to support me, and thanks for watching, guys.